My Queen. I've noticed a couple of fellow YouTubers taking a similar approach to what my meal plan is going to be for 2020. I decided that I would try what I like to call, or what I guess Pinterest has called, flexitarian. And what that means is that several days a week you have a mostly vegetarian diet. You don't say no to meat completely, but you do say no to meat more often. And so I decided to try that approach. One of the reasons is based on my word of the year, which is healthy. And I want to get more plant-based nutrition in my body, which is a good thing. I have the full support of my physician on that one, especially since I'm fairly certain that my physician is a vegetarian. I noticed some changes when I did this sort of plan a few months ago, and I didn't really consider it flexitarian then. It was just eating more fruits and vegetables. That's what I called it. It was eating more fruits and vegetables. One of the things that I noticed, the less processed food that I had and the more plant-based and whole food approach that I took to my diet, I noticed a couple of changes. One of the changes was I suffer from cystic acne and have since pretty much the first day of puberty. It's never gone away. I'm 45, almost 46 years old, and still get cystic acne on a fairly regular basis. When I was doing more whole food, plant-based eating, my cysts cut significantly back. I would say I got a quarter of the amount of cysts that I used to. Obviously, something that I was eating was causing that. Since every time I go back to my old way of eating, because obviously I backslide a lot, but every time I backslide, so does my skin. So I'm convinced that it has something to do with it. The other thing that I noticed was I've been having issues with my toenails, and I thought maybe I had toenail fungus or something, and maybe it is. My podiatrist doesn't seem to think that it is, but he can't be sure, but he doesn't want to prescribe me like antifungal medication aside from topical creams because of the health risks that come with taking that. They gave me some at-home remedies, but one of the remedies was to not eat processed sugar. You excrete that sugar one of three ways: through your poop, through your pee, and through your pores. And obviously if it comes out of your pores, it's coming through your skin, your toenails, and it has a basically like a yeast infection, a fungal infection effect. And one of the things I noticed, the less processed sugar, now I'm not saying I cut out sugar like that's naturally occurring in fruit. I'm talking about processed sugar. The less I ate of the processed sugar, all of a sudden my toenail issues started to go away with very little medical intervention as far as topical creams and sprays and ointments. The other thing that happened was my feet were so dry and scaly and just cracked and peeling and gross, and I just figured it was something genetic because my mom has the same issue and my grandma had the same issue. Mind you, we all ate the same way, so stands to reason. But when I started eating better, my feet weren't nearly as cracked or dry or peeling crusty. They were actually relatively smooth with very little intervention on my part. And at one point, I was scrubbing them twice a day, putting sprays and ointments and different moisturizers, and then at one point I was going barefoot 24/7 and sitting out in the sunshine, and nothing was helping. Nothing was helping. Literally within 2 weeks of eating healthy, it completely cleared up with just a tiny bit of residual crustiness in spots. Nothing even close to what I was experiencing before. I was honestly stunned because I really thought it was BS. I really thought that the information I was getting was BS. I'm like, there's no way my diet has anything to do with my crusty feet. But, I mean, science doesn't lie, and I'm looking at my toenails, and they look 1,000 times better. They still got a long way to go, but, you know, they were in pretty bad shape. But they look 1,000 times better already. And my feet are barely crusty. Like, I only have to, like, scrub brush them a couple times a week, like, get hard in there. Nothing like the twice-a-day crap that I was doing. And I have not changed anything. You know, I haven't tried any new scrubs. I haven't tried any new ointments. It's all the same stuff I've been using this whole time. And all of a sudden, my feet magically start clearing up. It was weird, too, because the only time they ever really cleared up before that was in the summertime when, you know, I had flip-flops on all the time and could sit out in the sunshine all day. But obviously in the wintertime you can't do that here in Southwest Michigan, so, you know, I just was like, well, you know, I'm willing to give anything a shot, you know, at least once. I'll try anything once, and if it's natural, even more so, I'll try it before I'll try taking some kind of damaging medication. The other side effect is my headaches. Now, mind you, my migraines are not gone. They probably never will be fully gone. And I know plenty of vegans and vegetarians that do have issues with migraines. So I don't necessarily think that it's going to magically cure my migraines. However, I have heard that people who go to a more plant-based diet experience less migraines and they're less severe. And honestly, I'd rather do that over taking some of the medication that they want to prescribe me, because I'll tell you what, the side effects of those medications are terrifying. When the side effect of your medication is possible death, chest pain, and suicidal thoughts and actions, you know, I will just deal with the pain. Or I will try to find a natural way of dealing with this, because there's no way in hell I'm putting that medication in my body. Especially living alone and not having somebody that can watch for these signs, you know, should, God forbid, something like that happen, who's going to be there to make sure I'm okay? My dog? You know, he's pretty much useless in that area. So, you know, I knew that I needed to take a different approach. So far, and my doctor is very supportive of my holistic treatment of things. He's not big on like essential oils, although he does agree with the tea tree oil for the treatment of my acne. But beyond that, you know, he's not real big into like essential oils. He thinks it's all a bunch of hooey, and honestly, so do I. But as far as taking a nutritional approach to most of my medical issues, so far I have been able to treat, I'd say 75% of my medical issues with a change in diet. And each time it's eating healthier. Go figure. One of the things that really, really got me on board is my favorite actor and movie director, Kevin Smith. You'll be able to see a couple of different interviews with him if you look it up on YouTube about his new diet. He's been overweight since forever. and his daughter is vegan, and he just recently, like about a year ago, had a widowmaker heart attack. And his daughter, in an effort to help him get his cholesterol and weight under control, as he was directed to do by his doctor, she's like, you know, maybe just try for like 6 months this, you know, plant-based diet. Like, just give it a shot. What do you have to lose? And he was like, he didn't want to do it because obviously he likes meat just as much as I do. But he was like, you know what? All right, fine. Obviously, I need to try a different approach. He has not only dropped his weight to the point where he is at his high school weight, but he's completely turned his numbers around, his cholesterol, his blood pressure, all that stuff that he had struggled with his entire life, no matter what diet he was on. All of a sudden he does this diet and magically those numbers turn around. And he's not the first person I've seen experience that. And even I noted when I was on a more plant-based diet, when I had my blood work done this last time, my doctor was like, I'd love to know what you're doing differently because your good cholesterol jumped a lot. And he goes, we don't often see that. He goes, you know, it might come up a little bit, but it definitely does not come up as far as yours did. And he goes, I don't think it was like a false negative or anything like that type issue. He goes, you've been doing something differently. And I said, well, I have been eating more vegetables and fruits and less meat and less processed food. And he goes, oh, yep, that'll do it. And it just astounded me that it's always been that easy. I could have changed this ages ago. And, you know, I think of my mom and dad who both are on cholesterol medications and high blood pressure medications. They might not even have to be on half or even all of their medications if they just did this kind of diet. And I can't say for sure that that would happen. I am not a medical doctor, so please don't take my advice as gospel or as any kind of professional advice, because it's not. But, I mean, it really couldn't hurt for them to give it a shot, in my opinion. And I know my mom takes a lot, you know, a lot of advice out of my playbook, so I'm hoping maybe once I get moved in next door, I can maybe like make some of these, you know, plant-based foods and just invite them over to try different stuff, because a lot of stuff she doesn't want to make it because she's not sure how it's going to taste or whatever. Even though they're like big vegetable eaters, they do love fresh vegetables. I just think that, you know, my mom only feels there's so many ways you can prepare something, and I mean, it's kind of true, but nowadays with all the different, you know, things out there, it's a lot easier to find new and different recipes to try with plant-based foods. I would like to give those a shot and, you know, maybe let them give it a try and see if it doesn't kind of turn them on to that sort of thing as well. I really think that if they were to do that, they could probably get off most of their medications that they're on right now. I wish they would give it a shot, but, you know, my parents are old and set in their ways. Chances of that, I don't know. I know, you know, we both kind of make a lot of excuses for our bad behavior, and I learned it from the master, so getting them on board, I don't know. But if they see results in me, maybe. But so far, just having made the little changes that I have since the first of the year, I'm so much less bloated. I feel a lot better. I've been having less headaches. My headache days are a lot less. And I have a bit more energy. And usually this time of year, I'm sapped for energy. And I actually have quite a bit now. There could be some truth to all that. I just want to keep on keeping on. And the whole house cleaning thing as exercise has helped immensely as well. I really feel like I'm getting a lot of activity in, and you know, I do notice that the numbers are going down, so it's obviously doing something. I want to keep up that momentum because, you know, I've been kind of stuck for a while, so I knew I needed to change something up. We've got some inclement weather possibly in our near future here in Michigan, so may take advantage of any snow days I might have and use it to make some new comfort food recipes that are plant-based. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited to give it a try and let you know the changes that I experience. I thought it was kind of funny because a couple of YouTubers, literally, that are my favorite YouTubers, both came up with the same idea that I did. I was like, great minds think alike, man. Great minds think alike, because I've been contemplating this for a really long time, and I finally just decided to take a leap, and then literally the next day I see a couple of my favorite YouTubers say, so I'm thinking of going more plant-based and whatever, but yeah. One of the best YouTubers out there that really is hardcore into the plant-based diet is Cracks in the Kitchen. I love watching them because, you know, they'll put recipes on there, they'll explain how they eat, what their mindset is, and it's so where I was. You know, I may not have been to the weight that I may not have been to the weight that they were, but I was well on my way. And so a lot of their mentality is similar, though maybe not as severe, but you know, I just see a lot of value in what they're doing. So we'll see. And yes, also keeping up with what my doctor says, because obviously there's a lot of really great ideas on YouTube, and I say great, but doesn't necessarily mean they're safe. There's a lot of quick fix diets out there that they'll lose you the weight, but not necessarily in a healthy way. And you know, my mission statement has always been, this is not weight loss at any cost. This is weight loss in a healthful way. That is my mission, to do it in a healthful way. Because, you know, I could lose a ton of weight on, you know, Atkins or keto or, you know, hell, even anorexia, but that doesn't make it healthy, you know. So I would rather, you know, learn healthy habits and eat healthy food and live longer because of it than to eat something that's gonna clog my arteries or spike my sugar or whatever, or ruin my liver just for the sake of losing some weight. You know, I don't need to lose it that bad and lose my life in the process. So anyhow, all right, I'm gonna go in, start getting my house cleaned up, start making my grocery list, because I want to do some grocery shopping tomorrow, because my shopping days are going to be a little thrown off. Everything's going to be a little thrown off because my grandson's birthday party is on Friday, so I've got to get some things done now versus the end of the week when I usually do it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. Also, I'd like to get it done early in case we get a bad snowstorm and I get snowed in. I don't want to be snowed in with no food and no plan. So anyhow, I will chat more with you later.